Meet a polite flower and why you might want to blowtorch another. Hi, I'm Madeline, and I love to plant native plants. On this channel, you'll learn all about growing native plants in your state. Before we talk about native flowers to grow in Virginia, I bet you're wondering, why do native plants matter? Here are 4 reasons they matter. First, they're non-invasive, which means they won't kill local plants and animals, unlike invasive non-native plants. And reason number 2, easy maintenance, is a no-brainer. They won't need fertilizers or pesticides, and they only need watering when you're starting them. And they are well adapted to our local ecosystems. We're down to reason number 3, and it is that native plants protect biodiversity. And that means that native plants help ensure there's a variety of native species within a particular ecosystem. And that supports all our local flora and fauna. And the 4th reason is a really good one. They help to absorb and store CO2. And that means that they help reverse climate change. And that ends up with a cooler Earth. Go check out my video entitled Native Plants versus Global Warming for more details on why you should plant native plants. Our state that we're focusing on today for native plants is Virginia. Where is it? There it is. I'm going to give Virginia a blue butterfly. For one thing, it fits on the state, and for another thing, you'll find out in the rest of this video. There's Virginia. Virginia is the 4th state we've done. Surprise! The first flower is the Virginia bluebell. Virginia bluebells are known scientifically as Mertensia, I can't remember the last part, virginica. That was easy. Virginia bluebell flowers are a beautiful bluish lavender color. These flowers are going to need partial sun to full sun, and they like sandy to loamy soil, so probably not clay. Virginia bluebell spread by seed, and it could go 20 feet over time. So if you want to control the spreading by seed of Virginia bluebell, you need to deadhead the blooms right after they fade. That's why I mentioned the blowtorch, but they are just gorgeous. Birds will helpfully also carry the seeds up to 7 miles away. So, you got to watch this plant unless you're putting it in like the woods or near the woods, somewhere like that. It does need sun, to partial sun though. So not only does it spread by seed, but it spreads by underground roots or rhizomes. So it will fill in an area that you need filled in, but it will also spread. So pros and cons. Since the Virginia bluebell only blooms for about 3 weeks in the spring, and then it just kind of collapses, that's when you would quickly deadhead it. You need to put something else near it or around it that can take the place of that plant, so you don't have this bare patch. I saw some photographs where there was a pretty yellow native wildflower in there around it and with it. Or you could plant a blue one that would kind of look similar. If you live in Virginia, I would love to know if you have this flower in your yard and how it's doing. Just let me know in the comments. Personally, if I lived in Virginia, I would have to plant it because it's so pretty. The other reason I would want to plant Virginia bluebells is because of their benefit to wildlife. There's a long list of wildlife that benefit from Virginia bluebells, including hummingbirds, long-tongued bees, butterflies, and moths. In my research, I also found that besides being gorgeous, they also have a fragrance, which is, side benefit to me. I love that. Now, Virginia, we're going to talk about the cardinal flower, a beautiful bright red, spiky standout. The scientific name for cardinal flower is Lobelia cardinalis. A huge benefit of cardinal flower is that it likes to grow in shady places. This flower, cardinal flower, is a real knockout. The color will change from red to yellow, orange hues. It turns yellow as it ages, but it's just so gorgeous. My research says this is really a pretty common plant, but because people have overpicked it, it's starting to get into trouble. Trouble means that it's become scarce in some areas. So please don't go around picking them. Grow your own in your yard. You can pick those. Cardinal flowers are long and tubular, which means that most beneficial insects are not going to be able to get to the nectar. So hummingbirds are the ones that pollinate cardinal flower. And you probably know red is the preferred color that hummingbirds will go to. So another cool thing about cardinal flowers is that the flower spikes are 8 inches tall. The plant itself can be from 1 to 6 feet tall, and they like moisture. Moist soil, you can find them around stream beds, ponds. Definitely plant this where it's going to be getting moisture pretty much all the time, not sitting in a lake of moisture, but it really likes the soil to be uniformly moist. But it's pretty gorgeous making up for that fact. Here in Oklahoma, it would have a real tough time in most places because of drought. Also, I mentioned hummingbirds, but butterflies also. Some of them can get their long tongue into that tubular flower, so benefits both. Hi, these videos on native plants for your state are sponsored by Wire and Fire Jewelry. Okay, Virginians, your very last native perennial flower is something that can take the place of the non-native hosta. I know hostas are loved by many gardeners. Mine all croaked eventually, but this little guy, Starry Solomon's Plume, has leaves similar to hostas and has clusters of little tiny star-shaped flowers. So guess what? It likes partial sun to shade, which is what hostas like. Another plus for this Starry Solomon's Plume, which has a lot of other names I won't go into, is that it's a very tough perennial. I don't think it's going to croak on you. So really the benefit is in the green foliage, but the flowers are awfully cute if you look at the picture here. And you'll see those flowers blooming in May and June, at least in Virginia. And the plant itself is 1 to 2 feet tall, which is very hosta-like of it. And my research says that it likes moist, humid, rich, acidic soil. I never worry about that too much. I just look at the light and the moisture more than anything. I guess you could put your compost, if you do that, put a bunch of compost there where you're going to plant it. It's cold tolerant. So the wildlife benefits are that birds and small mammals will eat the berries. The berries are actually pretty cool. They change colors and they're black with a red stripe mark around them. But know that deer will eat the leaves of the plant. But it's perennial. I think it'll come back without a problem. And as mentioned when I started out, you want to meet a polite plant. This would be the polite plant because it does spread by underground rhizomes or roots, but very slowly. And one person commented that it was a polite in that way. So are you ready to jump in and start planting native plants in your yard? I'd love to help you. Comment below with your state and I'll release a video for you soon. Subscribe and hit the bell to be notified as I release more videos on the U.S. native plants for all 50 states. Plus, you can get help today to find your best native plants for your area by downloading my free How to Find the Best Native Plants in Your Area right here. Thanks for watching.